The most recent episode of The Golden Hour was like watching a bunch of cats going after inanimate objects they feel are enemies. Brendan and Chris don't know why they're mad, but they know they're supposed to be mad, so they kind of speak out against Epstein. But not really. And I'm pretty sure Eric doesn't even know where he is right now, so I'm not expecting much from him. The conversation started out lovely when they were discussing the Epstein files and Pizzagate, and Chris thought he would give the exact wrong opinions. Because when you're a creepy doofus sexual predator, pedophiles aren't the problem, it's those damn TikTokers. Am I right? Take a look.
They're trying to dig up now the Wayfair thing again, you know, and the Pizzagate, because they're like, I love how they're like,
but the Wayfair thing is like, that's got to be a lie, right?
Well, bro,
but I don't know.
No, here's the thing. If
there's some substance to Pizzagate. Pizzagate has some legs.
It depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about under Comet Pizza, Hillary Clinton after work was going to the basement to eat baby feet, go fuck yourself. Yeah. Just go fuck yourself, okay?
No. That's what they do, though. That's what they do. That's so preposterous. You're like, dude, that's not real. What's real is they used the pizza as code to traffic young children into sex slavery.
Now, that is way more believable. But say that. Okay.
No, they can't. They can't.
No. What I'm saying is when a TikToker is saying this is the thing and this is how you know, all of that I assume is bullshit. It is way more likely somebody is making shit up and making a collage of things to get views than people are eating baby feet. Okay. Now, I'm not saying awful stuff doesn't happen. Absolutely it does. It does. A lot of these people in power are doing fucked up shit. I totally agree with that, okay? But my point is, just because somebody says something on TikTok, that person is nobody. But people are like, look, I have friends that are like, look at this link. And I'm like, who's that? And what are these images?
Yeah, is it
you
real?
Can make any image. I have no idea. Why wouldn't somebody make this stuff, these images?
I wonder what images Chris is talking about, and why was he so concerned when a friend of his sent him some photos? Perhaps they were of the underage-looking kind. In any case, his whole argument is basically that only the opinions of famous people matter. Everyone else to Chris is worthless and not to be trusted since he doesn't know who they are. And while I agree there is AI slop out there, nobody has to make fake photos when the real photos are way worse than anything AI could create. He's just trying to destroy the legitimacy of the Epstein files because you got to protect one of your own, right? He is a grown man and he's fully capable of fact-checking photos, yet keeps saying stuff like, well, we don't know which photos are real. There's so many fake photos out there, how can I ever know? And I'm convinced Chris keeps getting tricked by AI like Rogan, and that's why he hates on it. Nothing he says has merit, and he always has a straw man argument no one was defending, and he constantly contradicts himself. Chris has this way of giving you absolutely nothing when he's talking. He will try to get animated and passionate, but you can tell it's not his own feelings. He just doesn't have a point of view, and it's actually fascinating how little substance he walks around with. Just an empty vessel destroyed by his own perversion. Everything he says is shallow and hollow. And what kind of an argument is, when I've never heard of someone on TikTok, that means their opinion doesn't have to matter? Like, what the bitch is he talking about? He just wants to muddy the waters so other people doubt what's real too. It's Chris's sick and twisted way to minimize these types of crimes and the extent of them. Why else take a position that only favors pedophiles? Who could have guessed that the guy that tried to have his own harem of young girls would have taken the pedophile side? Not to be outdone, Brandon Schaub decides to throw his totally unverified claim into the mix.
So now, I'm not saying
they're doing it for views.
Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Clinton.
They're doing it for views.
I'm not saying what.
You could literally
Jeffrey Epstein,
you could get the documents, Chris, and go through it. Not that you're going to, but there's people that have. You can go through it and see there's fucking cookie crumbles to Pizzagate.
Sure,
these are facts.
I understand, and it's very weird looking. Look, it is very weird that Wayfair, if this happened, we're selling those big containers for $13,000 and naming them days after the children went missing, the same name. If that happened, that is definitely suspicious. I don't know that happened. I know TikTokers are saying it happened.
Yeah. I know. Okay, but what? Okay, but this is my point.
No, I'm not saying Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Clinton, all these motherfuckers have done shit. Donald Trump, they've all done shit. That's all.
No, back up. Trump did. If you read the docs that were released by the FBI, the 3 million pages, 6 million pages, actually, and this is gonna drive the left crazy. In those those documents, Trump's on there actually outing Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein. He wanted them to look into him. This is in 2008. Was saying they're both scumbags, evil people. The FBI.
It wouldn't be a Brandon Schaub fact unless he got the actual fact wrong. His claim came from a random police chief who said he had a 2013 phone conversation with Donald Trump. In this phone call, Trump supposedly said Epstein was bad news. There are no phone records, no police reports, and no proof whatsoever that this call happened. So I think an unqualified pigeon could deduce it never happened and was made up by Trump to try to hide his guilt on Epstein. But not our boy, Brendan. He believes it with all his heart. You thought he'd finally woken up to the BS based on his last few Fighter and the Kid episodes? Episodes where he called out Brian Callen repeatedly for getting things wrong? Nope. Brendan's got to suck Daddy Rogan's peen and struggle to remember literally anything, and I swear I was just starting to root for him again. But my hopes for a comeback from Brendan were premature, as a tiger can't change their stripes, and we all know how much he loves tigers. As if that story wasn't Donald Trump paying some guy to lie about him so he could look less guilty. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious, only a total moron could believe it. So, of course, Eric Griffin laps it up and decides he's most interested in who can be blamed for Trump's lies.
Reading 3 million files, right? Who's doing it?
Well, that's my,
who's the person? Yeah. Is it a room full of people? And how do you trust them?
Exactly.
So that's why, to me, I think it takes this long, because it's like Mission Impossible. It's like one dude in a black vault that, they know, and he has to go through the things with the AI, and he's like, all right, let's see. Someone has to know who these redacted names are.
Yeah.
And so no one went to him when he was going, hey, this is a hoax.
Right.
No one said, sir,
it's not a hoax.
It's actually not a hoax.
Right.
And we've looked through, because they've had these files for years.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, there is the truth out there.
Yeah. So my thing is, like, I think we're being distracted by making it about politics.
Yeah.
When it's like something nefarious is going on.
Sucks.
And this is the biggest cover-up happening right in front of our face.
I don't even know why they let Eric talk. The guy is dumber than a stick, and dumb enough to chase one too. Well, he decides to throw in his useless, empty-headed take for good measure on the Epstein files, and it has no actual human thought that I can find. Instead, Eric rambles about Trump and basically argues that Trump was just uninformed and not a liar when he said the Epstein files were a hoax. Eric blames Trump staff as if it's their responsibility to tell him not to lie or to correct him when he does. Any excuse to take the blame off of Trump, regardless of how outlandish or untrue. First off, it's so fitting that Eric would think there's a world that exists where Donald Trump wasn't heavily involved and aware of every single thing that was going on with Epstein. And second of all, it's even more fitting that he thinks Trump is acting in good faith. Your president is a pedo. Why are you such a dummy who can't see that? All of the evidence has suggested Trump is guilty and intricately involved with the Epstein files. But Tweedledee Too Dumb Eric has a kind of transcendental CTE from Brendan that affects his ability to think critically. It also affects his ability to pronounce words in a way that seems remotely human. I think it's really sick that these idiots discuss these topics as though we are still in the dark when we are not. At any point, they can see the facts and realize that Trump is 100% involved. We know Trump purchased a girl from Jeffrey Epstein. There is proof with a photo of Donald holding the check with Jeffrey and the young girl. Even if you don't believe that, there's 100 more reasons to know Trump is guilty. How can they continue to have the worst takes and be so wrong all the time? They believe what Trump says blindly and ignore the evidence of Trump's crimes, which is overwhelming. But the boys can't read, and I definitely don't think they're smart enough to be devious, so it has to be the people they surround themselves with that are making them so dumb. Plus, there are no women in their lives who will stand up for Epstein's victims or explain the depravity to them. Not that it's their responsibility, but you'd think that if your husband kept protecting pedophiles, you might want to say something. But not these broads, they've got protein powder to sell. They all married women who got with them for money and who continue to only care about money. These women are low value and low integrity, just like their men, and they couldn't care less about other people. Brendan's wife is busy hawking vitamins on the internet, and Eric's wife is as smart as a broom and doesn't know how to use one, so she's not going to be much help. And Chris's wife, whom he referred to as an angel, stayed with a man who sexually abused young girls, so she can't be trusted. I don't know any angels who stay with predators, so fuck that bitch. The golden hour is just an hour of Brendan getting facts wrong, fake laughter by Chris, and sadly, real laughter by Eric. They have no chemistry, and not one of them has a point of view. They are like 3 drowning people at the moment, and it's getting sad. One of them is drowning on purpose. One of them is unable to stop themselves from drowning. And one of them doesn't even know that they're drowning. Every day they get further away from the shore because they don't try and paddle. They're on a sinking ship, and Trump is the hill they're willing to die on because they so want to believe that he's not what he is. These fellas aren't interesting because they don't believe in anything. They're not unique because they don't have any core values. They don't have a personal identity because they've never tried to figure out who they are, and they don't plan to. Even when they say the right thing, it's so hard to believe them. Without conviction, there can be no meaningful opinion. Without thought, there can be no awareness. They shouldn't have a platform. No one should listen to them, and they should all be shunned for being fools. Why don't the 3 of you go hang out with Brian Callen? Subscribe if you like nonsense about Brandon. That I made up.